Jamal Robinson here, co-founder and co-owner of the Circle of Life Total Wellness. Let's talk today about one of the key tools that we keep in our tool bag that helps us restore a state of wellness and maintain a state of wellness. It's a very unique tool that I think a lot of people don't know about. It's called medical or health astrology. Medical/health astrology. It's based on the premise that at the time you were born and the place that you were born at, the bodies in the heavens were at certain positions, and that those bodies radiate energy. They have an energetic field that interacts with us here on Earth, even if they're light years away. Those energetic fields, they operate on what's called non-locality. That means they are not bound by space and time. Science has discovered that our bodies, a great deal of our vessels is composed of stardust and water. Where does the water fall from? Where does the stardust fall from? We are literally cosmic beings. So it's not far-fetched to see that if we are anatomically composed of outer space elements or cosmic elements, then it's not that big of a stretch to apply the symbolic language that astrology brings into the picture that gives us insight into the inner workings of the vessel. So these energies that radiate at the time of your birth kind of set a contract. And that contract from a health and wellness standpoint says that you will be predisposed to experiencing certain types of things from a health and wellness standpoint. That means there will be certain challenges that you may be predisposed to. At the same time, there may be certain strengths that you possess. By having insight into your health or medical astrological chart, it is a great tool to have on deck when you start experiencing some type of health challenges, or you want to stay well. You're not waiting until you're not well to get well, right? So I want to give you a quick kind of overview and very crude, very simple application of this science. Let's say you're somebody who's born January 29th. Then astrologically, you would be considered to be sun sign Aquarius. Now, when the sun is in the sign of Aquarius, it takes on the nature of Saturn. Why? Because Saturn rules the sign of Aquarius. So if you were born under that sign, then your vessel would have an easier time absorbing nutrients that come under the rulership of Saturn. So you're going to have a better shot at absorbing calcium. Your body will be better at taking in vitamin C, even sodium. Your body will do better with processing sodium and using it for what it actually is for, which is to drive the human battery, which is what we are. We are electromagnetic beings, and salt is an electrolyte, and it is necessary for one, very importantly, for your heart health, because your heart is the main engine of the body, and it needs electricity for it to function properly. So if you're born under the sign of Aquarius, which is ruled by Saturn, these are some crude, simple things that your body processes better. Calcium, vitamin C, sodium. And there are other nutrients too, but that's just a simple representation. Now, things that you naturally will have more difficulty with absorbing would be vitamin D. It would be vitamin A. Iodine may be something that you may be predisposed to being deficient in. Why? Because those are ruled by the sun, and especially in Leo. See, in astrology, the sun rules the sign of Leo, and Aquarius is opposite the sign of the sun's rulership. So imagine you have to go and spend the night at your enemy's house. You would be considered to be in exile or in a state of detriment because you're having to spend the night in territory that is the polar opposite of what you represent. So because Aquarius is the sign opposite that which the sun rules, which is Leo, then those nutrients that are under the rulership of the sun are harder for you to receive benefit from when you are an Aquarius. You may need more vitamin D. You may need more vitamin A. You may have to look closely at how your thyroid is functioning because the thyroid is dependent on iodine for proper function for it to make thyroxine. Those are things you would maybe need to keep an eye on so that if you're going to talk to your physician, right, and they can run panels and do tests, then that's some extra information for you to know and have in your tool bag. Now, if that person who is an Aquarius sun naturally absorbs calcium and vitamin C and things of those Saturn rule nutrients easier, and it's harder to absorb vitamin D and A and iodine, things of that nature, then should that person just take extra so that they'll meet their body's needs? Well, you may have to take a little more, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the body will be able to receive it, right? Because that's the problem. And this is how beautiful the science of astrology is designed. What health/medical astrology does is it shows us how taking in adequate amounts of what our body already can process will help us take in what it needs. So the person born under the sign of Aquarius has a better absorption of vitamin C. And what do we say? Calcium. Well, vitamin C helps the body absorb vitamin D, which that person would naturally have difficulty processing. So then by taking in the vitamin C, it helps with absorbing and processing the vitamin D, which then helps support the absorption of calcium. Then also thinking about healthy fats. That person who's the Aquarius who has difficulty taking in vitamin D, well, vitamin D is part of the ADEX, which are fat soluble vitamins. So that person naturally would probably need to have adequate fatty acid intake, may need to have more healthy fats in their diet, because fats, healthy fats, help with the absorption of the ADEX. And the ADEX, that's just shorthand for saying ADEK. Those vitamins are fat soluble. They need healthy fats for you to be able to take them in. And so now we see how this thing works full circle. I have a struggle taking in D and A and magnesium and iodine. So what I'll do is I'm going to work with what I got, what I naturally have better absorption rate with, right? And in doing so, it will help my body take in what it needs from those nutrients that I kind of struggle with the intake of. Now that's just a very simple example, because there's more to it. It's what sign was the moon in on the day you were born? The moon is going to represent what the greatest nutrient need you have. And then you get into other more complicated things like where's Saturn at on the day you were born, because Saturn blocks things. And do I have an aspect between Saturn and my sun, which may be hindering my overall vitality, which may put an emphasis on me restoring fire to the body, because the sun is the great fireball and the great vehicle of life force that runs our solar system, its namesake. And if you have in your chart, if you have Saturn at let's say a 90-degree astronomical angle to the sun in the sky, then that means they're in conflict. And whatever Saturn is in conflict with, it blocks. So Saturn would be there blocking the absorption of any of those nutrients that are ruled by the sun. And there would also be a need to exercise more, to bring more vitality and fire to the body, because Saturn is kind of trying to put the fire out. And it goes on and on. There's Jupiter, there's Uranus, there's Neptune, there's Pluto, there's Venus, there's Mars, there's Mercury. All of the 10 heavenly bodies, the main heavenly, that's 2 luminaries and 8 planets, they all play a pivotal role in understanding health and wellness predisposition throughout life, and how to better dance with the identity you have here on the earth and cosmically, because that's how big you are. You're not just an earth being, you're a cosmic being. So when we're dealing with health and wellness here and the way we do things, we're looking at it not just from a very limited, skewed point of view. We're looking at things cosmically, and that's why we emphasize that we are a total wellness business. And we challenge those who are even considering working with us to have an open and expansive mind. Because let's just be honest, if we continue to do the same things we've always done, and they've yielded certain benefits or lack of benefit, then it's insane to continue just trying to follow the same systems and standards that have not been providing the benefits that we've been looking for. So it would behoove us to be more open-minded about how we approach health and wellness. I'm Jamal Robinson again for the Circle of Life, Total Wellness. You can find out more about us at circle-oflife.com. Remember, all you got to do is scan, learn, and act.